wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and this is the World Cup of Carcassonne. You are about to witness by far the most interesting match of the week. Team Romania and Team is playing Team Germany, both obviously very strong teams. Germany was the champion of Europe in 2020, I think, and Romania came close quite often. Most importantly, in Group A, you can see that both of these teams are hitherto undefeated. Germany has won against Guatemala, Czechia, Mexico, and Romania has won against Netherlands, Slovakia, and most notably Japan. That was a huge encounter, and that puts Romania to great chance to actually win this group. I even put them today as a slight favorite in this match, but make no mistake, it has to be close, and I cannot imagine this match ending in anything else than 3-2 for either of the teams. Germany hasn't played Japan yet, so we'll be looking forward to that match, but they've already played two other relatively strong sort of mid-range teams in this group against Czechia and Mexico, and they won. The games are about to start, and as you can see, I will introduce all the players later. I can only say that our eyes will be drawn to table number 3 against Sogere Arpad, the world champion, the current world champion from Team Romania with a screen name Girappa, will be playing against Ralf Kvefut, the four-time world champion in the early days of Carcassonne with a screen name Navarre 79. So it's going to be old school against new school Carcassonne. It's kind of like watching, I don't know, Ding Liren playing Vladimir Kramnik or something like this. We're gonna go straight into the games. They've started 0 minutes ago, so we're just here for the first move. Red, that's Gere here, is starting. Then immediately the only possible response from Black, taking a road. Slight advantage here from Red, probably going to continue his city. Doesn't get scared because of a potential block, nor he should. Now already kind of a difficult decision for Black. I guess you want to go here, sort of attack this city, but you also create a re-attacking spot. I guess you still have to do this anyway, but the small advantage will go to Red as a result, because he's gonna score 4 points, be happy for it, and then moreover, he'll be able to continue attacking this spot. I see so many people in the chat. Hi Elias, hi Pichan, hi MTU, hi Vale, hi Helge, hi Kirill, hi Glovier. Alrighty. So, one of the many reasons why this game will be interesting, of course, both world champions, different eras, as we see that the previous world champion is currently higher rated even than the current world champion, but this doesn't matter. Elo doesn't matter that much. Well, look at this. He finds a move which is very similar to a move how he won a very painful game against me. It was like a huge coin flip. It started out with him taking over a big city just like this from a distance, but then with a triangle, and then with a city extender. This is absolutely possible. Of course, the other scenario is just he simply gets a city cap and continues his city, but he has to start it somewhere. So now we're probably going to see a monastery, presumably over here, which is the highest scoring spot. Here would also be pretty interesting, although not the best move. Oh, he goes here, but I think... yeah, if I'm completely honest, I think it has to be a misstep. Like a more aggressive play is to place a monastery right here for 4 points instead of 3 points. But still, the game is pretty early, and there is another. Yeah, what do I know? There's another monastery nearby, and now it's a big advantage here for Black, unless Red does something with the monasteries. I don't know, maybe somehow blocks one of them, then Black is just doing fantastic. You could just simply continue building monasteries every which way. Here, 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 here. Probably better to go over here, but it doesn't that much. So also this move with the monastery is kind of slightly different from what I would have played. I would have gone a little bit more aggressive, not finishing my road just yet, but placing it one step up. And but this is entirely predictable, so we're going to see some difference in style here. I expect Red, the Romanian world champion, to be a bit more aggressive, a bit more point scoring, whereas I expect Black here to be more conservative, to save his meeples, to maybe even not use monasteries that much, use more farmers, and do more blocking attempts, do more spatial moves, do other moves which are productive but not immediately point scoring. So interesting here that he decides to go upwards, kind of abandoning idea to take over the city, and one of the reasons as well, because the cities ain't that lucrative anymore, and if anything, everything here is blocked, and Red can be happy with this little mini battle until in the end, where he has 4 more points than his opponent. So that's exactly the kind of conservative that we're talking about. So taking 3 points for the monastery instead of meepling a 4th monastery, like one of the, let's say, Japanese players would go over here probably and then try to pre-build this road. Instead, he just takes 4 points, 3 for the monastery, 1 for the roads, and simply decides that it is going to be enough if he just manages to complete this monastery. There's also this road lying around, so somebody will be very happy drawing a curve. Hi Nicholas, hi Melvin. There's so many of you immediately. I of course need to remind everybody the usual drill to meeple the like button, and when the game will calm down a little bit more, we gonna talk about some other things. I'm going to introduce you both players from both teams. It's just this matchup was so important that we had to dive in straight from that. And at the end of the stream, I will give you an update about our currently ongoing subscribers Fantasy 5. There have been some interesting developments after week 3, because after week 3 nobody can change their picks. So there's a lot of tension here on the board, many cities that are about to get completed, and just as Black was trying to attack Red City, Red got what's now the 5th triangle city on the board and completed this flower, I think. I think they're called flower cities in Dan Chard's The Book of Carcassonne. I just use the more prosaic version, I just call them rhombus-shaped cities, but maybe I should get a little bit more creative. Red here, severely restricting Black City, but Black should not be too worried because there's still 3 tiles left that fit here. Black can do a variety of interesting things. So you see Black started blocking here, which I really like. He could continue the block, which I think would be premature. Instead, he goes for 2 points. Sometimes the best Carcassonne is the simple Carcassonne, also cleaning off the city cap at the same time, which of course Red would have been happy to snatch. Now what can Red do here? Yeah, oh, Red starts multiple blocking attacks, and now Vari doesn't draw a defense. Now it's going to be very, very interesting to see. So what I would do here, I would forget about this meeple, just meeple another monastery and try to outrun my opponent with monasteries. I would have meepled this monastery as well. But instead, what Black could do, maybe they're going to go start blocking, but that wouldn't be best because the monastery is the worst blocking tile. Another idea is to go upstairs, like somewhere here, to start meepling it, to control this meeple. But then, yeah, like any good monastery moves that I see are with the meeple. And as I said, Black goes super conservative, not meepling any of the monasteries, just adding 1 point. And we'll see later if this kind of more conservative approach will pay off. There's an interesting game that I think everybody should study between Ralf Kvefot and Melvin Quaresma from the World Championship of, I think, 2021. Not the World Championship, but of course the World Cup, the one that we're currently watching, the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship. Brazil was playing Germany then. And Navari actually won. And interestingly, he won that not by playing maybe objectively the mathematically most precise moves, but moves that make the game difficult for his opponent. So he managed to take his opponent to something that was completely unfamiliar territory, to force the game into a position in which he was good at, and maybe his opponent was not that experienced at. So let's see if he manages to do something like that over here. And so far, it's quite a natural game, though, apart from some of the conservative moves from the world champion. The modern world champion is playing, I think, pretty much the moves that I'd expect him to play. But also that's because he draws the tiles that sort of play itself. And, that was a nice city for him to finish. That was a natural block for him to start. And so far, also, the tile draws are working very, very well for red. Let's see how greedy red is. So probably he could just go over here, meeple a new city cap, save the city. He could save the city indirectly, but this, of course, would not be best. He finds this move. Black. What can black do? Probably just take 2 points. I don't see anything better. If you want to go like super YOLO mode, you can go over here, but then this city's super vulnerable from this side, On the other hand, with 15 points on the scoreboard down, you kind of need to catch up, because it's actually not 15, it's even more. These extra points for the mini battle, the blocked meeple. The monasteries are great, but they're really not enough. And now we kind of have to question, I think, not meepling all those monasteries, because imagine them over here. There would have been such a lucrative formation. So black hopefully has another winning plan for this game. That's interesting. So yeah, you can sometimes, like, sometimes not meepling stuff can really cost you. Well, we recently saw that in a game by Marian Korkam. It was so interesting that there was one little city piece exactly like this on his first move that he left empty, and then his Japanese opponent with a screen name Should just created the world of hurt in that game. Well, what an interesting move. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that we would expect. And this is sort of a lot of, I saw a lot of these moves in like 2012, 2013, no, maybe like 2013, 2014, and the sort of not early, but like mid days of the World Championship, before the COVID boom, before everything went online, before Board Game Arena. These days, you really don't see moves like these this often. For example, he added 2 points to Red City instead of taking 2 points himself. So that's already a 4-point sacrifice when you are far behind on the scoreboard. It's certainly interesting. It just seems that when you're far behind on the scoreboard, it doesn't seem to exactly work. Because what you will need to do later as black is probably invest like 2 or 3 more tiles to block this meeple completely. And then I'm not sure if it will end up being worth it. Because look how red is brilliantly readjusting, right? So at first of all, red defended this meeple, this critical square over here, to try and finish the city. But now after black played this move, red decides that, you know what, shifting gears, now we're not finishing the city, we're turning it into a ruin, then we're going to try to finish the other one, and just simply use the extra ruin points to outrun my opponent. Especially because black got blocked over here without any real compensation. That's certainly quite unfortunate for them. Well, let's see if he finds out another winning plan. I see some ideas over here. One of them would be just like taking 4 points for the city and then YOLOing for a coin flip, saying that whoever gets the city cap first gets this 8-point city. I really like this move, actually. Another alternative is just to go over here, start a new city, and hope to finish it with a triangle. There is a slight problem with that is that 5 triangles already on the board and 5 triple cities already on the board. So there are actually only 6 big tiles remaining to finish. 6 is a lot, you may say, but this square over here will be attackable from this side. So on this very next move, this 6 will actually turn into 3 or 2. But again, black goes super conservative and just starts a new city, interestingly. And over here, and not next to his monasteries. By the way, the thing, this move would have worked. This would have been like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 points on black's scoreboard. But I still wouldn't have done that because the odds for completing the city wouldn't be that great. We don't need to be results oriented. In the meantime, the thing that can happen with excessive blocking absolutely happens. Red draws the tile and just completely sorts out his position. Meeple's a juicy 4-point road, for which there's still... Well, there's one road finisher tile, but red doesn't even need a road finisher tile. He can go over here, over here, over here. And in the meantime, the player with the screen name Navarre keeps adding more points to his opponents. That does happen quite a lot in his games. Let's just count. So that's already 3 points added. And he's trying, I see, to tie these 2 meeples together, counting on the fact that there is only one of those, there is still one of those remaining. Well, there's only one of the tiles that could tie these 2 cities together. But the problem with this move is that you're hoping to draw a triangle before your opponent draws a city cap. But look at how many triangles are on the board. There are already 6 after this move. So there are 4 triangles remaining. Okay, there are still 3 big tiles. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So it's like 7 big tiles remaining. But there are way, way more city caps remaining for red. So red is in fact the favorite to get out of this situation. And you could say that, you know, red will get lucky or something. No, it's just math. There's still at least 10, but probably more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 11 city caps remaining. I may have miscounted 1. So red actually has all the odds in the world to finish the city. But there's also another problem now. Kind of black is in a difficult position in 2 places. This and this. He needs 2 triangles in 2 places. Nice move here by red, starting a 4-point road, value for himself, and a blocking platform. So of course, as black, you should defend. That was a very nice defense. Not meepling the city cap, because you want to be meepling the city cap not with your last meeple, but just after, when you draw a city tile. In the meantime, we get another news from another match, which I couldn't stream today because I literally just got back. That's why we were starting with a couple of minutes delay. But yeah, we get news that Ukraine is already up 3-0 versus Hungary. Certainly not great for Hungary. That's already their 4th defeat in the row. And I don't think they really deserve that. Like, they're stronger than their results suggest. And also, Hungary winning kind of favors Latvia's chances in the tournament table. So... but it is what it is. Alrighty. So we have some results on the scoreboard. That's the player with the screen name Medusa Hope. And the player with the screen name Mike Keaton have won their games. Now, Mike Keaton on table number 2 is a fairly newer player to Team Germany, but he is, he's quite experienced in Board Game Arena in his 600s, well, currently in the upper 500s. So he just had her opponent out-traded, and that's the one table where Germany would be the favorites. And of course, table number 4, where I think the strongest player in Germany at the moment, not the strongest player in Germany, but the strongest player in the German team is playing. Here, Medusa Hope is winning against Erwin Gall of Romania. In the meantime, there's some interesting developments here in this game. So the splitter has been drawn for black, which is great for them. They got some city points, but the sweet, sweet insurance farmer, not insurance farmer, but an anticipation farmer by Reds is scoring already 12 points, and Black needs to show something for it. I assume he'll have to attack the field at some point, which is why, as Gera, oh, so he goes for this version of the Ukrainian technique already. Tribute here. So I was debating between this move and move one square here. I would have gone probably one square higher, but the idea is pretty much the same. That you commit one meeple to impede the development of your opponent's adjacent monastery, which he controls by 2 meeples, and with that he further solidifies his meeple advantage. And also there's some scenarios how it's actually really difficult for Black to proceed. So probably now he'll have to go over here and give points to Red. I can't really see anything better, because the alternative is drawing a city cap and putting it over here, which is really, really painful to be forced to give a city cap to your opponent. And in order to win this game, it does appear that Black would need meeples, because one of the possible win paths for Black would be to just take over this field with 2 meeples, which I think is something that could really happen, so Black is absolutely not out of this. The 2 monasteries compensate for the difference on the scoreboard. Then everything else on the board is sort of roughly equal. And then the only problem that Black will be facing is his meeple disadvantage and the fact that Red is controlling the field. But if Black manages to somehow win this field with 2 meeples and then close it down, then he's cooking. So now this was actually a very good tile for Black, because even though he was forced to add 2 points, well, 1 point, but in the long term 2 points to his opponent's city, he also was adding 2 points to his monastery and dropping a farmer. Immediately, of course, the current world champion equalizes his farm. He's trying to play it super safe, does not allow Black to take this field spot. So here, of course, in order to win, I think Black needed to get kind of lucky to be the first one to draw this road tile. Unfortunately for them, this didn't happen, so they will need to look for other win paths. There still are some ideas. For example, you can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are no crossroads remaining. This makes it slightly more difficult. I figured so my initial plan was that they could take a crossroads, take 4 points for the road, then take a curve, meeple the farmer here, and then connect through the outside all the way like this, expanding his field and at the same time equalizing it. But it ain't gonna happen because there are no crossroads remaining. But on the other hand, because there are no crossroads remaining, this field connection is a bit harder to block. So maybe on the last move, he can kind of do something like this and then connect through a curve. But it doesn't look like it's going to be mattering much. So here, again, difficult decision for Black, because Red is just creating all those threats. Black, of course, would have loved to take 2 points for the monastery and get one of his meeples back, which he needs. But it does seem that this is quite an urgent threat that he needs to deal with, so probably he'll end up putting the triangle over here. An alternative is just to ignore this meeple and build the city. But the question is, can you really afford to hope that Red ain't gonna draw any city caps? We shall see in just a second. Oh, lots of things going on in the chat. So Limbo Man is asking, from which country are most of your viewers from? This is so interesting that it's really, really evenly spread across the world. Well, not evenly, like there's some pockets in Brazil, in the United States especially, in the United Kingdom, in Latvia, in Spain. But these are like 10% at most, even less. So there's no country which has like a big share of my viewers, which is pretty cool, yeah. So we're currently at like 550 something subscribers, but we have a pretty much a global community over here. Now observing how the current world champion is going to place this triple city tile with a road? Or in other words, will he score 2 points? Or will he try to extend his city, score 3 immediate points, and give himself maybe some shot at finishing it? There's a downside to this move that you're sort of creating a field connection, but it's fine, because there's one field connection here anyway. Okay, so this is a fantastic tile. Meeple on the monastery always, yep. Because there are still curves, and suddenly Black is doing not too bad. Maybe there's a world where he somehow outruns his opponent without the farms. I think if it's a curve, then his field also expands to 6 points, to 9 points because of this flower. And with the monastery, then he gets to meeple it for 8 points. So maybe he doesn't even need the farm. On the other hand, the 11-point score difference, yeah, it's something. I don't want to be counting the points too much. Maybe some of you in the chat can do that. I know there are many of you who are faster than me. Okay, so my thing is counting tiles. Your thing can be counting points. Or actually, you don't have to. Let's just relax, enjoy the game. Maybe try to predict our both opponents' moves, or not. So straight line, where Black will place it. I don't know. Maybe continuing his monastery, at the same time bothering his monastery. All right. So this is one time where actually he doesn't get afraid of a block, but he has to risk. Every point sort of matters. Black would be doing okay if he finishes this monastery, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 more curves remaining, I think. Which is why... yeah, red should block here. It's probably worth investing the points, and it's not like red has another good use for this curve. Blocking the city seems futile. Starting a road seems a bit unnecessarily greedy. He's just going to come forth for the block. Double check where the curves are. So yeah, interesting sequence. Of course, now it's real unfortunate for Black that he's not able to finish this. I don't know if that was his win condition or not. In all likelihood, it was. But there's still an idea how he wins. Now, instead of Black drawing his monastery, as Black, we can hope that red draws a monastery. Because this means that on the last move, we'll be able to drop a farmer over here. And then, if red draws a monastery, that will be the one non-blocking tile. Because if he puts the monastery here, there's still one curve to connect, right? So that's sort of your outside winning chance. The problem is you can't really do that now, because you still need meeples for like other stuff probably. Or do you? Or do you? You kind of need to, I guess, wait until the other tiles run out, until all the road tiles run out, and then on the last move you sort of bounce. Or maybe you could just do it now. Would be certainly healthy for the content. Do it for the content. Farmer for the content. It doesn't matter who wins this game. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. It's interesting to watch. I have a feeling he's gonna do it. 35, 34, 43, 32 seconds remaining. In the meantime, we have an upset on table 1. The other Romanian world champion of 2019 and previously undefeated in this tournament in duels, Marian Corcan with a screen name Mars15, is defeated by the German player with the screen name Amiras, who's currently rated in his mid-500s. Certainly a reasonably strong player, but... wow. I don't think I understand that move. I assume he was hoping for the monastery, right? But then there was only one... Okay, so he was hoping for the back-to-back monastery plus city cap. He was hoping to go here and then here and unite all the fields. Interesting. So that would have been something like a 20% chance of getting this. But unfortunately he didn't get the tile, because now it would have been curious to see if that would have been enough for the win. Maybe. Certainly interesting idea here from the world champion of 26, 2007, 2008, and 2009. I may have gotten the years wrong. No, I've gotten the years wrong. Please correct me. It may have been 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, something like this. But like 4 consecutive years in a row. So like complete dominance from this person, basically. To connect through the farm like this and like this with 2 back-to-back tiles. And now finally, red with his extra meeple is going to score a 3-point field somewhere, probably. You know, it's a question of aesthetics how you do this. The player with the black meeples is saying grats, which is short for congrats. I never say that. Like, typically when somebody says congratulations, I don't know, it's like... To me, it sounds like a bit spiteful. I know that some people say it in a well-meaning way. But, like, congrats means this game wasn't good, but you won. But I'm sure it's well-meaning. It's just my habit. Yeah, Elias pointing out that this move, the farmer, is not enough to connect the fields, and that makes sense. It does seem to me that in order to win, like, some other things needed to happen, that black needed to go over here. Well, actually, maybe it would have been enough. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, it would... Wait, it would not have been enough. No way, because look at this. Black was having 6 points on this field, and red was having 12 and 3. So that's 15. So this means that this field connection would have given black extra 9 points. And that's an investment of an extra meeple. On the other hand, if you hope for the monastery in a different way, let's say you draw a curve here and finish your monastery first, then you hope for monastery to score 8 points with a meeple, plus 3 more. So it's actually 11 because you get this extra field. But it doesn't matter because it's certainly interesting to see sort of these back-to-back ideas like this. Certainly nice that black didn't give up. But in this game, I have to say that, as one would predict in any sport, of course, that the recent world champion has the upper hand, not only in the tile that he was drawing, even though it's actually evened out towards the end, but also in the move that he was playing. So probably this conservatism, maybe some blocking, one being behind, maybe not meepling the monasteries, you name it, maybe overvaluing the field, several things that could have cost black the game here. Okay, so now it's time to look at our second most interesting duel, because they just started their third game, I believe, or second, I don't know. Oh no, they didn't. It said that the game started 3 minutes ago, and they are on move. They're halfway through. Did I see that wrong? Please correct me, guys. It said that the table was created 3 minutes ago, and they have half of the game remaining only. And blue is now going to go over here and set up a gigantic move. He's not going to finish his row. Just watch. Just watch. We'll assess this position in a second, but timing-wise, very interesting. Okay, so I'm not hallucinating. So the players played this far in 3 minutes. And I think this sort of development has to favor the Romanian player because Irving G is like one of the fastest players on this platform, sometimes to his detriment. He's really fast at tile counting though. But as a result, his games are almost impossible to follow. And I think this may have been the first time that I'm actually streaming his game because I've streamed Romania many times, but we never have time to look at Irving G. Even though we're here really to look at the German master, I think they're currently the strongest player on their team. I've analyzed their games. They're certainly very interesting. I haven't played much with them. I think maybe like 1 or 2 games. Yeah, now Blue draws the 75%er, meeples this road, which is fantastic for them. And Blue should really be taking this down. On the other hand, what I like about Red is that Red took care of the compensation farmers. So it's like 12 points for the field, potentially 15. The problem is that this is not going to be enough. And if you're smart here, if you are Blue, then you don't need to make moves like these, actually, ever. If you wanted to just win this game safely. Because I think with this advantage on the scoreboard, you can just leave Red with these 2 meeples and let him control this 15-point field. It can go to like, it can grow to like 18, 21. He decides to just do an honest Brazilian field battle where every side has 5 meeples. But it does seem to me that this is unnecessary. So look at this, kind of Irving is gambling here. This is like such a YOLO move, leaving an empty city cap just for the sake of another farmer. But actually this might be mandated. On the other hand, look at this. What happened? Black is not playing this game, but Blue drew a 6-point city, and as a result, another connection platform was created. So Blue can have his cake and eat it too. Kind of go over here, and then over here, and over here. So I think as Red, maybe one idea how you can play this is try to block this field connection now and try to hold down the field. But because of the advantage on the scoreboard, Blue doesn't need the field anymore. Blue kind of needs to maybe attack this meeple, either block or connect. Block this. Oof. Yeah, that's a nice move. Attacking the city and then meepling this farmer at the same time. Of course, these farms can still be separated. But not with this tile. With this tile, oh, Irving would have loved it over here. But he ain't gonna have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's actually only 1 triple city remaining. And it's a triple city with a road, not with a field. So it's not really possible to separate these 2 fields nicely. And probably we expect this blue meeple to make it to the field eventually. In the meantime, talk about upsets. Joanna Felicia's equalized against the high-rated German player. And also I forgot to mention that this is already the decider between Irving G and the highest-rated German player. So yeah, both them playing very fast, and just as I was saying, this meeple is about to make it into the field, and maybe Blue will drop a 4 farmer and just go Portuguese style, go emotional damage. Look at this. He does this, but Erwin, yeah, exactly. I knew this. That's such a nice move. Because at this point, it's not about cities. Red needs to hold down the farm, and then maybe he has a shot. Because look at what Blue did. As a result of fighting for this field, Blue actually expanded this field. There were only 5 cities on it. Well, actually, no. Yeah, there were 5 cities on it. Now there's 7 cities on it. And it's all because blue dropped this stuff over here. So blue is now probably in a position where he doesn't really want to lose this farm. I know it's been pointed out to me that... Oh, again, it's a good thing that I'm not playing. These are 2 fields. Because this stuff's not connected. Which means that red is doing maybe not that great. Because actually now he would have loved this farmer to go over here for the main field fight. And now sort of blue's moves makes actually way more sense. I don't know. It's kind of really neat idea to put compensation farmers on both sides. And these fields are not connected. It's 9 plus 12 plus 15. So this means that red is just desperately trying to successfully now equalize this field. But it's so interesting that initially what I thought would have been red's advantage to having this farmer separated for multiple cities for these 9 points. It's kind of like a disadvantage because now, of course, this meeple wants to make it all the way over here. And as Irving, you really need more field here somehow. You need like a straight line connect through a YOLO curve. Maybe something like this. Let's see. As blue, when do you start playing defense? When do you just simply start blocking field connection? It's not possible with this tile because if you put it over here to block a YOLO curve, there's some other disadvantages, such as like connection through here through a curve. Like, no, it doesn't work. Nothing works. Nothing works. I really don't see an entry into this field for red. And red needs it. Red needs it. Oh, I see an... I see... Boom! First of all, like this. Oh, man. It's so obvious. Well, okay. It's like... You know, it's a bit harder to follow the games when like from the middle. I'm just trying to find excuses. But yeah. Here. Any tile. So Irving's going to do this. But maybe he figured that he needs to block this first. But are there even city caps remaining? Oh, there are. Oh, you bet there are. So unfortunately, this was a necessity. And red could not have used this tile. But he needs it. And even then it's a question. Wait a second. There are no regular city caps remaining. Otherwise, this field's connection would have been nice to add like 3 more points to red city, but it doesn't quite work. Huh, interesting. So I assume that blue went for the defensive farmer just so that red doesn't drop a farmer there. That's so nice. And also, it's not really with the purpose of winning this field. It's just for the purpose of not letting red win the field. We're going to see a 5-point road in a second. And blue should have it, but I'm not going to refresh. I'm going to read the chat. I'm just going to see. Well, Ervin G is saying GG. That's like every time I play him and he says GG, I always think that he's just introducing himself twice. Oh wait, Elias is saying that red could have dropped a farmer on the inside. What do you mean on the inside? Okay, there's something that I'm not seeing. On the inside. Oh! 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 That was such a it was a missed win. No, it wasn't a win. Actually, it would not have been enough. It would have been 10 more points. But look at this idea. Excellent suggestion, Elias. Yes. This over here, red farmer, and then to connect through this tile like that. Oh. And then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 more points for the field. Of course, then as red, you don't have the last meeple. So you go, so you don't meeple this 6-point field. And then this guy scores 1 more point because he's able to meeple the 6-point field instead of you. So this means that red, had he understood the sequence, would have scored 8 more points. And he would have been at -4, which of course would not have been enough, which means that this insurance farmer was not it was just absolutely great. But also red missed some chances to make it sweat. I really agree that it was so beautiful because, like, imagine on the same move that you block your opponent's field connection, you create your own field connection. That's just mwah. But it ain't gonna happen. Maybe something has to do with having 2.5 minutes on the clock. Or maybe Red just realized that there was no way coming back. But it's certainly, I think, quite instructive that games in Carcassonne are closer than it may seem. When you're lots of points behind, there's usually some sort of field connection. So you got to try looking at those, try to be resourceful. Thank you for pointing this out. In the meantime, we have a decisive result for Team Romania. So it's now 1-1 in the match. The rating favorites are currently winning. The older of the two Carcassonne brothers, Bogdan Kurkan, with a screen name Game Over, had concluded his games with the German, I wanted to say streamer, but he's not really a streamer. He's an experienced player who was very often guest on Meeple Wizard's German-speaking streams, and he has, like, I think he's the most soothing voice in Carcassonne when he speaks German. But he lost 2-0. Yeah. So we're going to watch now Marian's game to see what happened with that upset. In the meantime, if you liked Elias's find here for the last farmer, which I thought was really cool, you need to meeple the like button for Elias. Then, of course, I get the likes for the video. But we all get the like, because it's for the algorithm, remember? Whoa! Oh, so they just finished the second game and we're about to watch the decider. So the Romanian younger of the two Carcassonne brothers makes a comeback against the German. And they're going to decide the fate of that duel in, I presume, just a couple of minutes. And finally we'll get to witness something from the very start. Elias is saying you can meeple the like button even if you don't like the suggestion. Yeah, that also works. Okay, so they've created a table. And we're just going to keep refreshing. We ain't going to start watching any other games. And also we know for sure that the German is not going to make it easier for the Romanian world champion. Although this is one of the rare games where I would need to specify. By the way, something that needs to be mentioned in the curiosities of the week. 3 world champions lined up today. 30% of the players lined up today in the teams are world champions. You don't get that very often. So, Marian with the green meeples has the starting player advantage. Folka with the red meeples has the advantage of scoring 4 points straight away. Marian starting a new city, and Folka is immediately going to pick up the empty stuff. But look at this, how many starting tiles already on the board. This will be a game where blocking will matter a lot. So for example, now blue is not playing this game. I keep doing this, but green has made 2 moves, and green's meeple are currently vulnerable. Exactly. Of course, green had to play this, but suddenly there's only 1 tile that left over here. This meeple will be in most likelihood trapped with 2 points. Green is behind on the scoreboard, so it ain't gonna be easy for green. So now here, I think what you do is you kiss this meeple goodbye. Goodbye. Yeah, that's it. He's going to be... we can ignore him. And then we have to grow as green as aggressive as possible. I like this move, starting a new road. I like this move too, in restricting the road as well. Maybe as Marian now, more aggression. I guess you can go over here, continue your road, trying to attack the city as well. Maybe win some sort of mini battle. Maybe even draw crossroads and then go over here, and then block the square and then completely annihilate this meeple over here. So he proceeds with the first step of the plan, but it ain't gonna work because Amiras immediately got a city cap, and interestingly, he subscribes to a losing mini battle. Mistake. Just trust me, okay? It's you turn the cap in the cities. So you know, it could be nerves, it could be just some difficulties with opening preparations, but the move is always to turn the city cap in the other way. This square is not as vulnerable as it seems, but it doesn't matter. Now, Marian, of course, once red had spent the moves on building this road, Marian is saying, I'ma share it. Okay, important coin flip has just been won by Amiras. 16 points already on the scoreboard, and he got the starting tile immediately, the last remaining starting tile, and this meeple is now officially declared deceased. We're going to... You will be remembered. 2 points, road meeple. You will be remembered in the scoring of the last game. But that's about it. But green is not out of this. We have seen how the play with the green meeple has been ultra resourceful in this championship. And if anything, in his last game against Romania, he has won via comeback. Aggressively building monasteries, which is, I guess, what you gotta do in this situation. Probably green will really need to finish the city first, because let's say, yeah, there we go. Because if red were to draw like a triple or quadruple city tile, that would be like almost tragic, because this city meeple was vulnerable, now it's not vulnerable anymore, and now the scoreboard looks more even. The game is getting a little bit closer, so anything can happen. Probably as red, you start a new city either here or here, and red is not counting tiles, because all the 4 starting tiles are clearly out, so you don't need to block the square. And then if your goal is to restrict the city, well, then you do it over here. So it does seem that there is a bit of a hasty move here on red's part. I certainly prefer what green is doing in this position, but I think the reason behind this move is sometimes it's very easy to miscount tiles when 2 of the same tiles are together. And look at this, there are 2 starting tiles just adjacently on the board, and when you're counting tiles, it's easier to just count them as 1. Exactly, yeah, red is playing super fast, and I think to their detriment. So now he has equalized Green has equalized on the scoreboard, but this is a really good move by red. I really like it. Because it does seem that this field, that this road attack is low probability. But just try defending against it. Just try. Like, it's easier said than done. It's also an indirect attack on the monastery, and now, well, Green has a really tough decision to make. So he goes over here. He's probably going to meeple this. So gets into a winning mini battle. But this is already an absolute win for red, because this means that Green was not able to use this shield over here to continue to his city, add 4 points, and start a really strong blocking attack on the red meeple. So this move, even though I think 1 point road moves can look very silly, it was actually really, really good. Oh, such a super interesting decision here. Here, I think Green should spend a little bit of full minute. I'm just going to walk you through some of the candidate moves, okay? One of this, you can just take 3 points over here. Take 3 points over here. Meeple a monastery, which is a bit YOLO-ish. Or, I think a move that I expected him to play was to go here and meeple a 12-point field. And I think the reason why he decided to do this was that he decided not to meeple the field over here is because he figured he'd lose the field battle of his meeple minority. But I kind of like the farm here. And also the problem with this move is it looks like it's blocking this meeple. Which it is. This meeple is not coming back. But neither is this one. And I'm not sure exactly if this +1 mini battle will be worth the sacrifice. I mean, of course, Green could draw quadruple city tile, go over here, build up his ruin, get like 8-ish points. But this point is an immediate 3-point sacrifice. 4-point sacrifice, actually. Or even a 13 points, or even a 12-point sacrifice if you look at this. Oh, lovely, lovely move. Okay. So we'll see if that pays off. I was quite surprised by the decision. I probably still don't agree with it. But, you know, it's possible that the play with the green meeples is just seeing something that I don't. I love this aggressive road. You know, there's still 5 curves remaining to go over here. There's a bit of a downside that kind of you need to wait for a little bit longer, you know, because you first of all need to get this curve and then this curve. Awesome. This is the move where actually Green managed to resist meepling a field, and I think it's really strong here because there are many 6-point fields, 1, 2, 3, so neither of the sides is in any rush to meeple the field. And if we are to meeple the field, then we should meeple this field, and actually this is something that Red will do right here, right now. I believe they should. It's a strong move. 9 points, then equal on the meeples, and well, this 9-point field versus this 2-point road is fantastic. Yeah, KK Spam pointing out something interesting, and also, and so are some other people, is that this move is interesting because there's still a lot of big city tiles. But then again, I can count. Okay, they're triangles as well. But I still see this city only getting to 8 points. And now as Amiris, you can even block this, which I think is really strong. It's probably stronger than starting like just a 4-point city somewhere. You could block this as well, but this wouldn't be strong. You could go here, meeple a field. You could go here, meeple a field. You could start a new city here, I guess. Should I rather? Yeah, I like this. I like this. Starting a new city like this, threatening this road. We'll see what Red does over here. But certainly very interesting decision. Now, this would have been a no-brainer had there been no meeple over here. But with the meeple is double-edged. Okay, so he does meeple the field, but somebody has the advantage on the scoreboard. That's not Red. Somebody has the meeple majority now. That's not Red. Somebody's going to have a real majority of meeples when finishing his road, and that's not Red. So suddenly, with this aggressive road and aggressive monasteries And another aggressive road, and another aggressive road. Look at how many roads the Romanian here managed to score. He's now not looking too shabby. The next move will probably be fighting for the field. Oh, wow! So he does close this down. Of course, it will cost him some points. He goes over here, instead of taking 7 points for his field, he decided this super urgent, and Marian was just about to expand. But still, the city was capped at 8 points, right? Because just there's the quadruple city tile, and there were 3 of those. So that's quadruple tile is 2, this is 1, and then 2 more of those is 3. So that's 6 more points, and then this would have been 8. The triple cities with the road don't count when you're making this decision, because the triple cities with the road can score 2-point moves anyway. So it's all just about triple cities with a field or quadruple city when you're trying to evaluate the perspective of a ruin. Of course, in close positions, extenders and triangles also can go into that ruin. But when you have a lot of meeples, and by my definition, both sides have a lot of meeples, you can still use extenders and triangles for finishable cities. So that would be kind of a long analysis of the situation, but players are now exchanging natural moves. Oh, Marian keeps drawing the stuff that he would have loved to put this over here. Look, this city cap, it does seem to me, was pretty well spent. On the other hand, was it? Because of the city cap, you gave your opponent 1 point, you missed up on 4 points, so that's a 5-point sacrifice. And you've denied your opponent 3 points. So far it's a minus 2-point investment. And if Marian wins the coin flip for this city, then it's like a minus 6-point investment. I don't know. Well, we get exciting news. So the champion of the present defeats the champion of 2007. I really forgot the years. Please do correct me, but like 2007, 2008. So Romania is currently up 3-1. They were the slight favorite, I believe, and let's see if it's going to be 3-1 or 3-2. Certainly these points will be very important for the tiebreakers, because whoever wins the group will advance further, but then depending on whether you're second or third, you kind of get either an easier or a tougher opponent in the next player round. It's complicated. So now Germany will going to have 1 loss. Romania is going to have 0 losses, so they're probably going to end up in first. They have a few easy matches ahead of them, actually. They still haven't played Guatemala, and I think like if it wasn't Germany or Japan, there's just really no match for Romania in this group anymore. I mean, I know that like Czechia will try and Mexico will try, but it will be hard for both of these teams. Well, anyway, we're here to continue watching some Carcassonne, and also have a surprise for you. You know what we're gonna do after this game? We ain't gonna do a wrap up with Fantasy 5 with Fantasy Carcassonne just yet. We're gonna watch another match, because recently, like half an hour ago, France and Belgium have started playing. And I know that Belgium has some slow players. Respect for using your time to think, and also thanks for, letting us stream and have the content. So we're going to watch the ending of that match as well. I have not prepared the scoreboard because this is the main event of the evening, but I just wanted to have a bit of a small piece of content completely unannounced to reward those of you who are sticking around until this point in the stream. Okay, the truth is I just forgot to mention it at the start. Okay, so interestingly here, talking about spending your time. Now the red player has slowed down and he's thinking about this decision. With the city cap, I don't know. So now maybe red is regretting this farmer over here. It's not bad. I quite like it. But it comes with some cost. And the cost is you can't use city caps because you have only 1 meeple. So red does draw the thing. So this city cap, even though a flashy move, looks like, I don't know, a tricky move to assess. Certainly, green has benefited from it massively. Look at this. Okay, this move turned out to be like a savant move, of course. Even though I wasn't like a huge fan of it at the start. So I think the main idea was that he did not meeple a 12-point farm because he chose to play small ball. And I think maybe he just did this to really hope to outplay his opponent later. Maybe that's what actually one of the scenarios that he calculated, that if his ruin gets closed down, he gets an extra city cap. And that's how he could get an advantage of that situation. So certainly interesting. Interesting move for Marian starting a new city. Oh, by the way, this was an excellent move here by Red. This was just really, really high level, okay? Because this was a multi-purpose move. Red was starting to block this field connection and at the same time prevent the field connection from this side, because Green was about to utilize his meeple majority and take away and rob this meeple of 12 points and have 12 points himself and just completely obliterate this side of the board. But this did not happen precisely because of this move. And now, of course, Green found a way to take advantage of it in another way. Greedily meepling this. And he's now even going to think about it, which I like. He's thinking whether to meeple this. I think he thinks better of it. Now, in terms of what's going to increase both players' win probability, we're way past the point of 3 points road. It's about this field now. Interesting situation. Do you take 2 points? Do you take 2 points? Do you take 2 points? Or do you just go for the ruin straight away? I don't understand this move by Red. It does nothing. I think Red may have miscounted the starting tiles. I think that was the issue. No, I don't think that was the issue. I think just Red didn't find a productive move. But there was a nice move setting up a monastery over here. Or over here. I don't know, it does seem that Green is playing in a more consistent way when it comes to long-term planning. By the way, look at this. Do you think he's going to take 4 points? No, he's going to meeple that field. As he should. Yep. This is one of those places where conservatism certainly pays off. A greedy move would be meepling the city first and then hope to meeple the field. But no. We have way too many meeples for that. I don't even know what to recommend to Red. Like, the position is so closed. And despite this meeple, which was blocked at the start of the game, despite the 16-0 advantage of the scoreboard that Red drew, it looks like Green is completely crushing it. What does Red do? Well, I see one thing. So again, like, it's a patience thing. We have to wait for last move. And maybe we take a straight line and do this field connection. Try to eat up this 6-point meeple. Maybe that's something. And maybe another thing, we go over here and we connect to this field over here. But the problem for that is that it's only equalization. It doesn't give us any extra points. And it also takes moves. While the Romanian is just unapologetically chipping away with quick points. One more city cap and little road. He went for the ruin, by the way. So the dream of him getting his city up to 8 points was accomplished. Just not here, but here. The city is now worth 8 points, outscoring either of the monasteries. So, as Red, you need to play extremely aggressively. I see 1, 2, lots of triangles, 3 triangles. So I think, how about we go over here and we equalize this ruin? And then we try to finish this monastery, because there's still 1 road monastery remaining. And also, check this out. We can use a road monastery for connecting to the field. He does go for the move. I really like it. It's really efficient. It's building up his monastery. It's equalizing important points. And then it's setting up some high scoring plays. So Red is certainly fighting back and making it not easy for Marian. But I've noticed an interesting thing. Did you notice how, like, whenever red spend more time on the moves, then the moves are, like, automatically stronger, like, much stronger. I think it was a really good move. So, and so was this, by the way. I love that one, absolutely. Even though it ended up costing him 8 points, that was kind of a bit unfortunate for red that green drew these back-to-back city caps. Red couldn't have done much about it. Ooh! So he connects with this tile. Of course, I forgot that there were these things remaining. So, as green, no, it doesn't work. It's a tricky situation. Maybe as green you kind of want to reconnect, but the problem is there are no. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, he just goes for this, but then there's suddenly a win path. As red, we just go over here and we hope that, let's say, you could go over here. You could hope that your opponent doesn't draw a blocking tile. Maybe your opponent draws something like this. There's still one of those remaining. No, there isn't. No, it's blockable. It's completely blockable. It ain't gonna work. You see, if you're gonna go over here as red, then no matter what green draws, green will be able to stop this connection. And also, there are no triple cities. But maybe you still had to try? I don't know. Well, if we know it wouldn't have worked. So red instead decides to attack the field. Not yet, but like he's creating a field connection, which makes sense, but the field connection was already there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 curves remaining, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. And here's the idea, because there were still 2 triangles remaining, I think a nice move would have been to wait for a long time, then get a curve, drop a farmer, and then this would be very difficult to block because there were these triangles remaining. So I think by creating one field connection for himself, red eliminated a more lucrative connection. But let's see if his decision pays off. So many interesting moves that he can do. He can still go for this, but it's blockable. It's still blockable very easily. You can't do that. He goes for this. He drops a farmer, probably. Doesn't seem as gonna be enough. And now it's even blockable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it was a good move. It was a good try because there's still many triangles remaining. And if Marian draws a triangle, he's not able to block. And if Folka draws a triangle, he's able to connect. But Marian does not draw a triangle. He draws a curve. He can double check all the tiles, but all he needs to do is place it over here, face to the left, so that there's a monastery-shaped hole remaining, and there are no monasteries remaining. He double checks it, and that's the win. So yeah, quite unfortunate for the play with the red meeples, but maybe some things could have been done. That we will leave it for the post-match analysis. But yeah, again, another impressive performance here from the Romanian. Kind of starting from a difficult position and then, I think, building up all these roads. As a result, maybe red got a bit complacent with his lead. Kind of missed a couple of opportunities to clinch the game or play more precisely, more aggressively. And then, as a result, the play with the blocked meeple at the start ends up with all the field. You ain't gonna see that happening that very often. And green managed to build up his monasteries very efficiently, as opposed to these 2 monasteries of red, which are still not finished. Green even got a 5-point road in the process, which was super nice for him. But as red, maybe still have hope. What about we go over here, over here, over here? Is there like a triple field connection? I don't think so. Nah, there isn't. I mean, there is, but it's like it's blockable immediately. There should still be one curve, but I'm not sure about additional row. Oh yeah, it works. Okay, check this out. So you go here. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Anyway, I'm not playing. I don't have to think. No, check this out. It does. You go over here, then you take a curve, then you take a crossroads. You have to try this. So there are tiles in principle in existence to bring this meeple into the farm, like way through this. It's actually a common pattern when your opponent blocks you to a monastery-shaped hole. You can always loop around with multiple tiles if you have to. The problem is that the other two remaining tiles are blocking tiles. So red just places a triangle over here and that's it. And denies. But red's just go for points. Red is preventing the fields from unifying. Well, he didn't prevent this field from unifying. Okay. Oh, that's a nice field connection opportunity here. Would have worked had red drawn this thing, but red did not draw this. I still like the farmer here, even though it didn't work. Now, because green has probably won this game, well, green has won this game, green can go emotional damage mode, and green can try and take over this city. It's not going to work because of the tiles. Oh, yeah, okay, the field connection is complete, that's nice. But actually, yeah, no, that was a fantastic move. Check this out. I think green, if green, okay, that was like, of course, he won the game. He knows he can afford to be sloppy, but that would have been beautiful. You go over here, and then your opponent is torn. Either your opponent is, red is forced to place the curve over here and block your city connection, or your opponent takes the curve like he did, connecting to the field, in which case you just connect to the city. So yeah, I think green could have made it more spectacular and scored more points. So that's something to think in post-game analysis. But of course it doesn't matter. He's going to win this game somehow again. And I'll tell you how. I keep repeating the quote from the 2016 world champion Vladimir Kovalev. Don't underestimate the importance of roads. 1, 2, 3, 4. This road. This road. That's what kept green in the game when red was drawing cities. And then the counterintuitive strategic decision of not making a big farm, but kind of like playing small ball, eventually paid off for green. You could say that maybe like in the second half of the game, green drew some nicer tiles, but I know that Marian Korkan does not call it luck, he calls it inspiration. So he got some inspiration. Certainly, red managed to make some really nice moves in his attempt to make a comeback. This was kind of a nice block. This was a nice field connection. Not field connection, but city connection. But it was a little bit too late. And Romania, a dominant performance again. What is this? 4-1 and 4-1 against Germany and Japan. Then, I don't know, can I stream any more Romanian games? Because then, like, the outcome was predetermined almost. In all fairness, Romanians did bring out their strongest players for both of these matches. So maybe we can watch some more closer matchups when they actually bring somebody less experienced. Although not many of those on Romania's team. So yeah, only the highest rated player on the German team with the screen and Medusa Hope was able to deliver a point, and the all-important tiebreaker, which will matter in the end. But now we're going to check what you guys are saying. And I know what we're going to do. We're just going to open a game from Belgium. I forgot who exactly is playing. I know that their captain is playing, and I know that they spend the most time. Belgium, Belgium, Belgium. Who you do want to watch? So we got news that Gelamax won against Tom D. Smith with a screen name Nice Dicer. Okay. Viv is interesting. Okay, I know we're watching Gina. Yeah. We're watching Gina and then we're watching the captain. The reason why we're doing so is because Gina Nicholas Victor is the only Belgian player to be on a Fantasy 5 team, to be on a one of your teams. And he's about to play a decider. Look at this. One game, another game. And they're roughly similar rated with... Oh! And by the way, the French player with screen name Squalis is also on one of the Fantasy Carcassonne teams. So some of you in the chat must be rooting for one player or the other. Okay, you are also saying all Gina. So that's pretty easy. So all we have to do is just keep refreshing. But the next game that we're going to watch is Nico Vellemans, the captain, and W versus... the French player with screen name Wildward, who's also an expert. By the way, did you notice how kind of this French squad got progressively stronger every year? I think like before that, it used to be just Viv and, well, and some players who just Viv wanted to take along for the ride. But now, no, they actually are playing, and Viv even skipped a match. Which is also not great for all of you who chose Viv for the Fantasy 5s. So it is the French player, who by the way now has a really high rating of 600, who gets the starting tile, not the starting tile, but the first move. But the Belgian is getting the monastery, and he must be very happy about it. Although he doesn't call it a monastery, I know that Belgians call them breweries for some reason, probably jokingly, and probably because Belgium has a lot of those. Oh yeah, that's true. I know that I can... it's pretty cool that the organizers had made the screen names clickable. Well, anyway, this move, loving that from green. Normally, I've said that, oh, you know, it adds 2 points to your opponent. It's kind of iffy. This is very often the case, but not in this case. It's actually quite painful. Because the city is unlikely to be completed. If the square is filled, then green will have the chance to re-attack. And now red was forced. I'm not sure about forced, but red did add a monastery point to green. Yeah, there we go. So now suddenly this is all even money. And what do you do here as the French player? You probably place this tile over here, but the question is, what do you do about your opponent attacking from this side? One way to play this is to take inspiration from the Catalan player David Bourdois, the player with a screen name Devdeen, who, as you remember, those of you who watch my game analysis streams, on his second move started building a city with just 2 meeples. It's so spectacular. It's super risky, super high variance strategy, but do it for the content. Okay. Squalls is saying, yeah, which position for this one? I can tell you which position for the content. He goes for this one. Okay, I'm not gonna interfere. I only answered because he told he like started this. But okay, I promised I'd ask you. So where would you put it for real? Would you do the same or not the same? Oh, awesome, Kirill, you're the best. My teammate is improvising nicely, and look at this, we have a scoreboard for Belgium and France. Oh, let's go. So in the meantime, there was this key matchup between Jalamax and Nice Dicer, which we talked about. Well, the French master with the huge rating took care of what he was expected to take care, and hopefully was a bit of learning experience for the Belgian player here. But now everything's up for grabs. So in order for Belgium to have a chance, it's a must-win situation for Gina, and it's a must-win situation for everybody. So France is looking pretty good over here. Wow, Nicholas took his sweet time to score these 2 points, but of course, I like that. Nice aggressive road here by the French player. And Green still does not seem to be able to draw a city attacking tile. So this stuff seems to be working nicely for him. Yeah, because Green cannot put it over here. Green, I guess, just has to start a new city and hope for a better day. There isn't just much to do. Also, Red completing the city is not such a big tragedy, really. Green will have the monastery, and Red still cannot draw the triangle to secure it. Of course, if Red draws a regular triangle, he puts it over here, like this, and he's super happy. There's 5 of those that fit into this square, loads of those that fit into this square, but because he doesn't get the thing, he's forced to do this. And now, as Green, this is a fantastic tile for you. There's 2 very good uses for it. One standard, the other one for the content. Guess which one I'm rooting for. First of all, the standard. You go over here, you meeple the monastery with the road facing that way, and you pre-build a 3-point road. And probably this is kind of the fastest way to equalize. Yeah, then he sort of goes for for this move. But if you do it for the content, you place it over here. And now as Gina. There's only 2 Ginas. But because it's such a critical moment, I said his name 1.5 times. Of course, you can either take 3 points over here, which is actually 5 points, or you can continue your city over here. But I think a move that you kind of gotta play is maybe just do this. And open the city up to a block. It's definitely something you should be considering. There are a lot of blocking tiles, lots of turns, because it's like really easy to secure the city right now. On the other hand, if Green draws some sort of thingy over here, he can connect to the city. But the chances for that aren't great. You see? No, actually they're pretty decent. There are 5 city caps remaining that fit over here, which would close Red City immediately. Oh, there's this as well. Yep. This is the tile that Green wanted. And it looks like this city will be completed. But actually, it's okay from the Belgian perspective. And it's okay also from the French perspective. It's not like awesome from French perspective. It's okay because many beginner players don't care. Intermediate level players are afraid of cities like this. But actually, the 5 points on the scoreboard and the monasteries make the position almost preferable for Green. Probably this road is the one that gives Red a bit of an advantage. But it's still not secured. There's some vulnerability. Green will probably go over here. Or Green could go YOLO. Green could go over here and try to take over this road with a 75% chance, scoring 4 points along the end. But it does sadden me a lot that both players seem to be preoccupied with winning the game without caring for the content. Okay, so you did agree with the placement of this. I wonder if I should say it to Squalus now. No, I shouldn't. Bogdan is saying we should consider a 2.45 second delay. I mean, I don't think the French player is going to cheat. We have no reason to believe so. But if they were going to cheat, I mean, they just have the entire team to talk to. They don't need our stream. And also, like, I mean, you remember I did a bit of a hallucination when not noticing the second field from Irvin G's game? So, the advice here is not bulletproof. Oh, hi Bogdan. Yeah, congratulations on another impressive win. You're not giving us a close match for the content, but I guess yeah, that's fine. Yeah. The Belgian player starting a new city, now looking absolutely great in terms of his winning perspectives. The French player also gets a fantastic tile. Ooh, such a high variance move. I mean, you could either connect or maybe just go over here and then like continue your city indirectly, turning the city cap that way. That's why it's such a fantastic tile. And then try to do blocking later. Because the thing is, there's still two city caps that fit here, and that's after the block. So whilst this idea is interesting, I do think that it's a bit too slow, but we'll see if it pays off. It might as well pay off. So the city was 20 points, which is nice, but the monastery was 9 points. And as I said, the players are equal. There's no need to be afraid of big cities. Okay, well, the red has slight advantage because of the road. But the red city here is not that great. The scores in other matches have still not changed. Yeah, exactly. Joao was saying thinking about the game and watching the stream at the same time would be too much for my brain. But also, we can sometimes if we ever suspect somebody of cheating, which I don't think any of my viewers ever do, there's really no evidence for that, and I have no reason to believe that. But if we do, we can try and play it sneaky. So, have you ever seen? Okay, write in the chat who has seen the chess streamer Daniel Naroditsky. What he sometimes does when he gets stream sniped, he gives purposefully wrong advice, and then takes advantage of that. Like, for example, he's saying, oh, I missed queen d5. If my opponent goes queen d5, then he wins. And then his opponent goes queen d5, and it turns out to be a losing move. So he has, yeah, it's pretty cool. So maybe we could do something like this. But there's no need, again. Interesting. I mean, I think red is... yeah, the city cap, it has to be a mistake. It's too slow a block. There's still 2 tiles left over here, and it doesn't give you points. Like, as red, you can just simply finish your city and create a blocking platform from above. Whereas here, you can put, like, one of the many, many, many curves. Interesting, conservative, not meepling monastery, but the reason why this is monastery is vulnerable. Yes, that's true. Is because of this move before. So anyway, we'll just see what happens. I don't wanna like maybe comment so much. I just want to announce what's happening. Red is placing a road on the left, trying to block Red's city. Red scores 2 points, adding and makes his road more secure. And then I have an idea what Green should do now, but I'm not gonna say it. All right, I will. Okay, so I think like a really nice move is to go over here and make it this road really hard to block. But no, this very easy to block. There will be only 1 tile remaining. However, this move is also very good. It secures your city, adds you 2 more points potentially. There were other things to consider, such as going over here. No, that's bad. Going over here, finishing your road. Because now this road is vulnerable and this is vulnerable, but he's gonna draw a straight line, just watch, and place it over here. Or does he? This is an interesting decision. Like, as Green, is saving your meeple even worth it? Because look at this. Red just drew one of the tiles that fit here, which means that there's only 1 tile that fits here. Like, is it 50% of getting this meeple back actually worth going over here? Green says yes. But it costs him. It costs him a lot because there was a potential 4-point move with the meeple back. Interesting. Red's probably going to do something with this tile. Start a city? Maybe. Continue this city? Nope. Start a block? You bet. Or, nah. Go over here, start a city. Of course, that's just so lucrative. Both players have slowed down a little bit. The results on the scoreboard still unchanged. There's a quiet atmosphere. It's late evening in both of these countries. They share the time. I was even going to say that they share the language, but they don't. Because most of the Belgian team is from the Dutch-speaking part. Gina included. What they don't share is the amount of city splitters drawn. Now it's currently 1-0 for red. And what a city splitter it was. Now it puts France in a commanding position. Because the 6 points and a meeple back. Farmer. Content, farmer. Do it. You're thinking about it. Do it. And actually, it's kind of good. Even though it's only 3 points, this field has a lot of potential. I like it. All right. So red has the advantage here, but like green has chances. So first of all, I think if green gets this tile, then the game is just equal, just like that. If he doesn't get the tiles, well, maybe there are some other ideas, such as like blocking this city, taking this city cap, taking this city cap, getting meeple back. I'm surprised that red prioritized getting his monastery meeple back instead of his road instead of his vulnerable road meeple back. Because actually red precisely made his own meeple more vulnerable. But here's the main problem. It doesn't matter because red draws the critical tile that fits into this square. And now the game is going to be very, very difficult for green. And this is one of the things I was thinking, like sometimes giving yourself a 50% chance and spending a move, it's just not worth it if you think you can outrun your opponent without drawing that tile. Yeah, so imagine this, if this goes over here, let's say. By the way, this maybe still could have been saved. Then maybe green has just a bit more points and this could have been the difference. But I guess still you can't really blame the move that saves 2 meeples, but it's not an automatic move. You really need to kind of think about the about it real hard. Now the position's pretty like plays itself for red. He probably goes over here. Not only does he clean off a city cap, but he also protects his city. Because there's still loads of those. Oh. Oh, a 9-point field. Interesting. What a flex. Yeah, I mean, of course, if you draw such a tile, it's just fantastic. But this is also one of the reasons why maybe saving this meeple was not that important, because there was another good use for this tile on the board. I guess I'm thinking too much hindsight. I'll do my best to just return back to the action. Now, an important tile. Gina gets a city cap back. He scores 6 points for the city, 3 more points for the field. The field is still looking strong. Now, red has an interesting choice. Red can go over here, safe as road. Not a bad move. Go over here and sort of save a city. There's one triangle in the road that left here, but the payoff is huge. Imagine you get over here. He does this. Fortunately for the Belgian, the game is not over because he draws the thing. I see that there's a chat notification. Maybe the red is complaining. Let's see. Wait. Oh, come on. Whoa. I see. Yeah, the viewers shouldn't really be talking in the game. Okay. Squalus is saying, give me the answer at the end. Oh, man. We've missed so much of the chat. Well, anyway, it's certainly good to know that both players are taking it pretty casual and are just chatting instead of using trash talk, which also would have been great content, but I don't like trash talk. Also, trash talking against me doesn't work. Then I'm just way more focused and I just win at a higher frequency. So I'm warning y'all. Well, yes, Gina's right. It's only for, the chat is only for the 2 players. Alrighty, let's go. So, but it's a good question what he should do with this tile. I like blocking something. I don't... Wait. We're behind, right, as a Belgian. Can we afford blocking? Can we find something more creative? Actually, yeah, why not? Check this out. Okay, that also works. But there's a move how you get a curve, meeple a road, get a straight line, meeple a field, and then with another curve, connect to both the field and the road. I think this is the kind of high impact plays that you should be looking at when you're 15 points down on the scoreboard. The meeple count is, I guess, the same, but as green, you still have to take care of this block, probably. Because even though there are no tiles left that can finish the city in 1 move, there are 2 tiles left that could finish the city in 2 moves. Lovely move, pre-building a road in case he wins the coin flip. Oof. But now, can he find it? I think the move here is to go like this and hope to draw more triangles. And go like this, and like this, and like this. He finds it. Red does not get a blocking tile. Red needs to think of something else. Red maybe can go over here, start a new city, but that's too weak. Red can try to connect to the city, but green can reconnect. And if red connects, well, it's not such a big deal. It's like an equalization. Let's see. Well, we do get certain updates. Yeah, because I need to just occasionally click on the scoreboard that France has won this match. Of course, it was really uphill battle for Belgium after the key duel between Jalamax and Nice Dicer was decided. We still have 2 more games to watch, but surprisingly, I'd say one of the favorites, the Belgian captain, lost 2 games in a row against the French player with screen name Wildword. I'll have to look at this game afterwards. Actually, do you want to... Okay, write in the chat if you want an analysis after this. Like, we could just go and watch Nico's game versus Wildword in replay if you want. I feel like I still have lots of energy somehow. But it doesn't matter. We still need to keep watching this because the tiebreakers will be important at the end of a championship. And certainly losing 5-0 is different from losing 3-2. It is headed to 5-0 after this crucial coin flip has been won by red. Not only did red win this coin flip, he also, just like with an extra cherry on top, got 4 extra points for this other road. Now playing defense, equalizing the city. And also he can still finish this. So as Gina, you need to be looking for high impact plays. So this field connection plus road steal. Field connection as long as not enough. It has to be with the road steal. Or maybe this city. Actually, yeah. Nah, it's fine, but it doesn't do anything. Give us some content and also give yourself some winning chances. Just like, why not? Just here, we draw a triple city, we draw a triangle, we draw a city cap. No, for realsies. I mean, the chances aren't great, but it works. A high frequency over time. Again, are there curves? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 curves. Oh yeah, but you need to block, of course. That's the problem. You see, when you start building stuff and you get blocked, it's not bad, because this means that your opponent needs to spend moves. Like this curve, Gina would have loved to use over here. 3 curves, he would have completed all the objectives. He would have done the thing that we talked about. This road, farmer, loads of points. Green is happy, but green is not happy because he needed to spend these moves on blocking the city. But now the suggestion no longer works because there is no longer a sufficient number of curves. So the question is, what'd you do? I guess you just go over here, prevent your opponent from finishing a city, but you need some big points. You need to, I don't know, drop some dividers in your field, or you need to draw a monastery like this. Which ain't gonna happen because immediately red is going to score 4 points and block the monastery spots. So much pain inflicted by just one move. Gina is getting a triangle. He can still go for the YOLO stuff. He could go over here, hope for this, and a city cap, and a triangle, and all of these tiles still exist. That's a low probability situation, but what does it matter? It needs to have some winning chances. Like, even just starting a city like this is fine. So he goes for an 8-point city. That's sure interesting. Red immediately decreases his chances by drawing one of the city caps. How many are there? I can see at least 2 regular city caps. Exactly 2. Okay, so that's good for the Belgian. And also for the content, because like we want for the match to be as close as possible. Oh, hey, Nico's here. Sorry about your loss. We'll have a look at one of the... Okay, actually, do tell us, look, which of the 2 games is the more interesting one? The first or the second? By default, I usually go for the one with the closest point difference, but it can be deceptive. Sometimes game with a big point difference can be super close. For example, if there's a big field fight, and then just somebody has a 50-50 at the end, and then the difference is like 20 points, but in reality it was like a 50% winning chance for either side. Well, the French player here is thinking how to solidify his advantage, and he doesn't even go for a new city. He just plays pure defense. That's super interesting. Just to drop the city cap. Don't start anything new. Super conservative. Just let the game finish. We're playing football. The score is 1-0, and we have 5 defenders, like Team Greece in 2004 at the European Championship. I don't know why I had to pull off such an obscure reference. But there are a lot of analogies between physical sports and mind sports. So as red, the move that I like is just meepling a monastery. Like, you have 2 meeples, what do you have to be afraid? You just like go over here and then you build around it. And it's such a beautiful spot. So okay, check this out. Like, you put it over here. That's 3 points. If green finishes, then that's 4 points. You then put a tile over here that also indirectly protects your city. So that's kind of... because you're blocking the square for the creation of the platform for the blocking square. So basically putting a tile here adds to your equity of finishing the city. That's the bottom line. Then you put a tile over here to try block your opponent. That's like already 5 points. Over here, that's 6 points. So actually, you can even almost finish this monastery in some scenarios, or block your meeple together with greens. I think that's the way, like the most technical, the most painful for your opponent way to clean this game up. He just goes pure defense. He just like dumps stuff. But hey, you're gonna take the win any way you can. Now I need your collective effort. Okay, I already had some ideas for green to come back, but he didn't go for any of them. So we need your ideas. How can green come back? How can green win this? Let's see how creative y'all are. Oh, thank you, Elias remembers Greece 2004. By the way, I was kind of rooting for them in a lot of the games. It doesn't matter that it's 1-0. You do whatever you do in order to win. Oh, of course. Yes, yes, yes. Joao has to know very well about that European Championship as the Portuguese player. Because obviously Portugal was in the finals then. Against Greece. Gina gets his thing. And that's something. Green is trying to connect through the city cap. But all green has to do is just draw the city cap. And suddenly, this game, I was going to say is not over, but this city is big. I mean, it's small, it's 6 points. But it's big in terms of impact on the game, because suddenly red has 2 meeples. I think red just thinking like, what did I do with all these meeples? I know what you do. There are still 2 triple city tiles. Oh, that's green. Okay. Oh, for green. Yeah, go. Over here. Trying to win this. Bam, 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 and it's finished. And actually, it's still live. Okay. You go over here. There's 1 triple city with a road. It goes over here. Then city cap. Then the quadruple city. Then city cap. And I think I have like just enough. Or at least to create the threat. And also, like, what else do you have to lose? And, you know, you can give us some entertainment in this late Thursday evening. He does it. Let's go. Maybe he's watching the stream. I hope he isn't. But, I mean, also, like, I'm being facetious, but this is just the best move. Oh, awesome! Helgi's pointing out that the quadruple city tile would be a first move. If only... Oh, come on, we're about to witness something awesome. If only green just draws a city cap on his next move. Then if red draws a quadruple city tile, he'll be forced to place here. It's good enough for green, but the fourth quadruple city tile would have been so much more awesome. Red is fighting for this field, which is interesting. I guess he must have calculated there's a sufficient number of road tiles and it is safe. But also, it's actually pretty neat because he's creating a counter threat. He's saying, if you get the city tiles to go here, this means that I will get the road tiles to go here. So he must have watched my endgame puzzles video where the topic was creating counter threats. You should watch it also, unless you already have. The forced quadruple city tile is really a nice motif, but just like, I don't know, a queen sacrifice in chess, it's a motif that is very often between the lines and kind of like doesn't actually occur. But there's very often situations where it's like almost occurred. And sometimes it occurs, but like less impactful. So I recently had it in a casual game against Erwin Gull. And I got the fourth quadruple city tile. And then Erwin used it to add 4 points to me. Yay! Well, actually it was enough to tie the game. But there was another spot which was like a bit more impactful, which would have been like 20 points. But okay. Squalas goes for the city connection. Tries to cover all the bases. But I wonder, let's say in the unlikely event if he doesn't get any tiles, does he even tie? Does he even win? Probably, because 25 points are very hard to make up on the scoreboard, and I don't think green has 25 points on the board, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The city's 9 points. He gets 2 points for the road, also creates a blocking platform. But of course, here comes the field connection. He knew this. The French player knew this. He went for the counter threat specifically for that reason, so that he needs the city tiles in one place and the road plays in another. So it looks like, it superficially looks like a risky way to clean off the game, because, you know, what if you don't get your tiles? But with so fewer tiles remaining, you're bound to get at least something. But wait a second. Is there... 1, 2, no, nope, not that one. I think the player with the green meeples just missed a huge move. If you go over here, you have a 33% chance of winning through the city cap. Look at this. You go over here, you drop a farmer, you give us some content, then you draw the city cap and you go over here. Because the thing is, like, you have to hope for the... And it was unblockable, by the way. And you have to hope for the city cap anyway as green, because red is about to get it. I think green may have missed some equity here. And really, of course, red completely cleans off in style, and France just monumentally wins this match. At least 4-0. And we'll see if it will be 5-0, or if at least one of the 71 knives can stab his French opponent. Sorry, that came out too dark. But it's not my fault. It's the fault of a player who chose to put the knives in his screen name. Alright, congratulations for red. Let's just say... okay. So, congrats, Squalis, about that move. My viewers agree with you, but I would have put it on the left. Yeah. To leave a hole, to leave a CCCR shaped hole. Yes, the top is exposed, but not too many tiles remaining, but not too many tiles available to connect. And either the top or the bottom have to be exposed anyway. But your move makes a lot of sense too. Yeah, actually, that's a great point. Also, shall we just like, I can be the intermediate link between the French player and between you. That's true. He did really protect the game very well. He went kind of super conservative, just played super defense. To open an attack spot with that T in the beginning. Genius talked about a T in the beginning, but which one? No, I think he was fine. I mean, it just played out how it had to play it out. It was like roughly a coin flip for the city. Uh, Alrighty. We still have one more game left. Will Belgium be able to get on the board? We'll be witnessing just the last tiles of the encounter in which the French player has the Belgian outrated and outscored for now. But look at these monasteries, and there's still 20 tiles remaining, and they're thinking for 20 minutes. That's real commitment for the game. I like it. Big ruin versus monasteries. Ah, the imbalances. I love imbalances. Also, technically, the city is still finishable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 city cap still left to fit into this square. Yellow calmly takes 2 points and also tries to block a field connection, but it ain't gonna work because black connects to yellow's field. However, black will need one more farmer, and there it is. Oh, there's a big field fight brewing, and despite the imbalances, which is super interesting, the side with the monasteries will be able to hold down the field. And it only works because blocked meeple, blocked meeple. This blocked meeple is super impactful for the game, so I think yellow's strategy is just simply to hold on. Maybe this is fine, they finish a monastery. This field is shared, and they just hold on. And as black, of course, you probably need another farmer. Carl, that's the Belgian player, scores 4 points, and so does Blitz. But the speed at which he's playing the game does not suggest that the screen name is suitable for him. And I like that fact. Because I have time to read the chat. Okay, what are you saying? So Nico's saying that she lost our 3-2 versus 2-3 streak. That's true, I think. In the previous World Championship, every single encounter that Belgian had ended with either 2 versus 3 or 3 versus 2. Also, the first 3 rounds ended up being either 3-2 or 2-3. So Carl Verheiden is currently the national champion of Belgium. I need to mention that. He'll play the World Championship, but not in Essen, but in Herne. I don't know if that was secret news, but did you hear that? They're going to change the location of the World Championship. It has been Essen for 15 years. And now they're going to move it 20 kilometers away from Essen. Well, anyway, we have some important developments here. And the monastery has been finished, but also the field connection for black has been completed, and this guy just entered. And now this field is tied, and this field is big. Meeple-wise, both sides are doing okay. This is tied together with this. This is tied together with this. And there's still one tile that gives a meeple back to yellow. Points-wise, -1 on the scoreboard. Losing mini battle, so that's minus... Oh, but that's +5 for yellow, so that's +4. And then here, 8-point monastery versus an 11-point ruin, so that's a -3. So, actually, that's interesting. Yellow is at +1. So the game is as close as it could possibly be. However, long term, the perspective of black are much stronger. And that is not only because black draws the city cap that would have been useful for yellow. This is because their city can grow, whereas this monastery hasn't. And this is why yellow recognized that he probably needs the field in order to win. So he went YOLO, he went through the outside field connection, but actually I rather like it because it wasn't blockable in one move, right? Because you see, how is there no farmer? The French play blitzing out a move where you normally drop a farmer. Look at this. Yellow nicely protected his field connection. He realized that just edging out your opponent on points will not work strategically because this ruin can grow. And so he decided that his win condition is the field. And he's currently winning. Now, as Blitz, I think this was an important meeple here because look at this. Now he could have played it over here and tried to prepare a connection, but it doesn't work anymore because there's no farmer over here. Moreover, as yellow, you know what you can do? You can take a curve and you can drop another farmer over here because probably the field will be big enough that securing it with 2 meeples should secure you the win. Certainly a difficult position here for black. And you see, now is black using his time, but it's after the mistake has been made. And like, it's not necessarily a mistake. I mean, it is in this case, but it did seem to me that the thought of dropping a farmer is not something that even occurred to black. You can tell this by the timing. And now they're going like, oh yeah, I guess a farmer that would have been nice. Now I would have done this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then hope for like a starting tile to connect. Still 2 starting tiles. No straight lines, but 2 starting tiles. Ah, okay, so sorry for delivering such shocking news in such an anticlimactic fashion. Yes, Bexy, you're competing, but you don't know. Now you know. They will play at Spielezentrum. But they also say that it's actually quite close to Essen. Joao here in the chat is starting early trash talk. Because I assume next week is Belgium versus Portugal. I like it. I assume Craft Giraffe will stream this one. But you see, well, that's actually quite neat. He found this. But he was forced to go for the riskier stuff. Because I believe it's still blockable, maybe? With a... Yes! Aha! You see, now it's not such a good field. Well, I mean, it's obviously it's the best move. It's a really good move to try, but there is still 1 dagger tile remaining. The city cap with the curve that goes here, and like this, with which yellow can block this connection. Of course, there's 1 city cap versus like 4 tiles that connect you, but still. Wait a second. Yeah, and now, and now, as yellow, you use this empty spot that black so generously left for you, and you go over here and you win. Yes, 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 because here's the thing. If Blitz draws the connection like he did, that was a really nice find, then you just draw the other tile. You just draw one of the 2 starting tiles, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with the 1 remaining curve. Oh, they're 9 curves, but they're still starting tiles. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I missed the 9th curve because this was the last one placed on the board. It's a common tile counting mistake to discount the tile that was just placed on the board. I'm going to try and not do that mistake. And so should you. Interesting. He goes for the block instead of the field connection. But he needs the field connection. Where is he going to get another curve? There are two. There's the dagger, which I mentioned before, and there's still this sort of thing. So it's super interesting. I think actually what yellow should do, he just simply protect. But there's still a 16% chance of black winning. The 16% chance refers to him drawing both starting tiles. He needs to connect, like here, and he can still win. You know how? He goes over here, then this guy draws a starting tile, then he draws a starting tile, and connects over here. Oh, it's the wrong kind of dagger. I'm perplexed. Is he going for a fieldless win? Is that enough? I don't think it is. The field is really big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 21 points. We're going to get 21 points. He's going to score 4 more points, which could have been used on a field connection. I'm not sure. The player with screen name 71 knives is going to draw the dagger. Now use all his remaining tiles. He does not need even to block because he has the meeple super majority. He'll probably do it just to be safe. What's the cleanest way to win this? Just dump the tile somewhere. Connect all the fields, even though it didn't really matter. And all that the French player has is just 4 points. Of course, he didn't get the last curve. The last curve would have given him like a 6-point road. So that would have been nice, but that's not going to happen. The last tile is a triangle. Maybe you spectacularly place it over here. You are well beaten. This is what his teammate is saying. Certainly the ending was interesting, and we won't refresh. We will wait for the points to count themselves out, like a 24-point field. And yellow actually plays a really strong endgame, recognizes the strengths and weaknesses of this position, decides that it is necessary for him to fight for the field, finds a really neat spot for field connection, taking advantage of the fact that all of the 4 crossroads were out, uses his high probability connection to go over here, and then uses his opponent's misstep to drop his last farmer on the field and clinch the field with a super majority. Now, very nice technique here from the Belgian player. Shows why he is the national champion currently. And all the 71 of his knives are sure well sharpened. For black, of course, it was this move. Yeah, the farmer here was the issue that made this game so much harder to win for black, despite his overall advantage with this rune. And that's all because of the time management. That's all because of blitzing out one move and then kind of thinking for a long time in a situation which was already quite difficult. But we're going to congratulate Team Belgium on the one important point that prevented him from a 5-0 defeat. 5-0 defeats are usually not pleasant psychologically. And we're still going to congratulate France on having this impressive 4 versus 1 win, winning some key matchups, and keeping the tournament chances alive. Because they currently are on a 2 versus 2 record. They won 2, lost 2. They can actually still very well qualify. Nico saying enough 5-0s already in the tournament. True, there are a lot of 5-0s in the tournament, and more are yet to come. So, as promised, let's just double check this fact first. Yeah. Okay, it's good that they're not trash talking. Just sort of using the standard congratulations. And we're gonna go here. And analyze the game of Nico Vellemans versus the... Well, I guess we take the last one. That should be more interesting. Lots of 35 minutes of that something. Actually, I did... well, I don't know if some of you who were watching Craft Your Raft stream last week when he was streaming Catalonia versus Latvia, I did spend 20 minutes myself in one of my games. That was the one that I lost. The other ones I also spent 12-15 minutes, but it was a bit easier because it's always harder to play when you're losing. Okay, so yeah, 15 and 16 minutes. That's kind of nice, equally spent time. So let's see. Because Nico's in the chat, we're going to view this game from his perspective. And let's just see what happens. We're not going to overanalyze, but I'm going to turn on the tile counter. And we're going to go. If you're into game analysis, do meeple the like button. And subscribe for way more stuff like this. The opponents are starting with standard moves. That's the advantage of viewing the game in post-game analysis, because we can make it as quick or as slow as we can possibly want it. Nice move here by Red, starting a 3-point road, making it harder to complete the city. Nico's probably going to do this. Interesting. I think this was also in order, because I have the shield is kind of nice and valuable. We may want to secure this first. On the other hand, there is still a divider remaining, so probably looking forward for the separation while we're starting over here. Nico's connecting here, but this stuff is for sure vulnerable. He doesn't get a blocking tile. Nico's probably going to start some sort of defense up top, starting a new city as well. This is looking very, very good for him, but there's going to be a reconnection. Of course, is there going to be a reconnection from here? Obviously. Oh! Oh! Huh. Interesting. Okay. Blue decides to score points instead of going for the huge city and letting Red go for the huge city. But Red just gives us this miraculous present. Why don't you just let them fight for the city? It's good. It's really, really good. It's so juicy. I mean, look at how many points it's going to have. Even when not finished. And there's a high chance when it's not finished. So both players exchange ignoring the city. Now, Red chooses to fight for it that way. Starts a new city. And as Nico, do you just finish Red City or do you just go over here? Let's see what he does. Yeah, you see, he chooses over here. So he, because of not fighting for this city, you're now sort of forced to give your opponents a couple of points in order to ensure some safety, but the game still going on, because now we are the ones, as blue, who have the threat of taking triangle, and over here, and eat up everything over here. Of course, you will need the same tile to connect here and to connect here, but actually, there's a like 68-ish% chance of getting 2 out of 4 tiles that you need. It's not 50, it's more than that. It's 68. It's around 11/16. More on that in the probability video that I've been promising y'all for months, but it really takes a long time. Okay. So now Nico is indeed trying to threaten his city. The French player is unimpressed, just going for building his monastery stuff. Nico gets to equalize the monastery, and the threat of the city is still alive. Well, now surely the French player is going to block. But he doesn't. He just goes for the road connection, which also makes sense. Does not meeple the field just yet, decides to keep it safely. Now, interesting decision here. Probably if you're blue, you do this. Start a new city. You keep this threat open, but let's see if it does it. No, he also plays super conservatively, saying that, you know what, I have a splitter just in case, but of course there's still 3 tiles that go over here. Nico's trying to connect. So far natural moves, but both players surprisingly just completely ignoring this game decisive feature. So either of the players could have won already, but sure. We're going to watch. Red is trying to block blue's monastery. Blue is probably going to continue his road, or actually a decent move is to go over here. Trying to complete your side of the monastery and create some flips, saying, let's say, if I get a monastery, I go over here. Here comes the city connection. Fields are actually, I like a farmer here. Yeah, okay, so they do this. Now we also drop a farmer, I presume. It's going to be a big field whether we like it or not, because eventually, even though this farm is only 6 points, eventually the tile that fits into this square will be drawn by a red with a 94% chance, and he's going to go over here, equalize the city, give everybody a meeple back, and this field will be worth 9 points. Overall, this field will be worth 12 points, but at the end of the game, this field will be worth 24 points probably. It just has so many green squares that they can easily be developed. Now, this is a strong attack, so blue really can't do much about it. Blue can start a 5-point road over here, which I like, a way to utilize useless straight lines. Blue can go over here, but that's just not the strongest move. Goes for blocking, doesn't go for the I was going to say accidentally for the content, but I wanted to say for the aggression, for the point scoring. Red inexplicably does not meeple the monastery, which okay, fine. It's a really juicy monastery because it controls your opponent. And like you could go over here and you can block. It's just so many beautiful things that you can do. And also, because of this move that you're going to put over here, eventually everybody's going to have a surplus of meeples. But of course now red is not going to go over here, because this move is only worth 2 points. Red is now go over here and creates a threat of completing the city completely. The French player is 1 move away from clinching the game. And as the Belgian, we can't do nothing about it. We just score 2 points and we pray and we wait. Again, still tension. We're probably going to see a block on the monastery. And this is exactly what happens. Now only 4 tiles remaining that fit here. Nico is going to try to re-attack the city from the 27, even though... Okay, the move in this situation always is to place this triangle the other way with the meeple. And it's something that, as a Carcassonne player with 4 of these tiles remaining you do in your sleep. But again, the pressure of the WTCOC is completely understandable. Because the problem with this move is that the block doesn't work. You need to connect. First of all, this city has already a lot of points. And like 9 points is a good investment for a meeple already. And if you block, you need 2 more tiles because 3 of the daggers are still remaining. So the move is always to turn this and meeple. Because now, of course, what Wildward's going to do is just nicely protect this city, which is fantastic for them. We just score 3 points. I'm saying we because we're watching this as blue. I should be impartial, but I'm not. And this city was finished only because of this move. That was it. It's turning the cap the other way. Because then, had red drawn this thing, red would not have been able to put it here. Then we would have drawn this thing. We would have gone over here, equalizing these 2 cities, and that's it. But I mean, it's of course understandable, the pressure of the WTCOC and everything. It's easier for us analyzing just after the game with the tile counter. But interesting that from the result we know that blue managed to make the game really close. Let's see how it does it. Probably by winning this field. Starts by connecting over here. Red scores quick points, and then as blue, we absolutely meeple a 6-point monastery over here. We do, because we need to get every single point we could get. It's actually really, really risky monastery. It's very easily blockable because of the tiles remaining. Even though it's very interesting, the spot looks super safe, but it's actually super vulnerable. Like 1 tile over here can mess it up completely. But we still have to do this because we're behind. Also in Carcassonne, like monastery play is a real art because very often safe places for monasteries are actually risky, and places which look risky are safer than you might think. And like so many players get it wrong, like everybody up to 650 level gets it wrong all the time. But here, blue's monastery is spot on. Nice move here by blue. Oof, oof, such beauty. Pre-building a road with a field connection. Pre-building a road for himself over here, and of course, trying to combat the city, which is important. Red wins the coin flip, but red brings blue into the field. Blue probably has to spend his last meeple on attacking. I mean, okay, yeah, sure, that first. But that makes sense, just to give everybody meeple back and to have more room to play. Red now is making his best effort at losing this game, starting to create a block, which I don't think is really that important. I think 4 points were just way better to secure this with such an advantage on the scoreboard. I mean, this field is 12 points. Like, it just doesn't matter. But it's fine. Everybody has nerves. Everybody has pressure. Blue finishes his really nice sequence by taking 4 points and also completely, permanently blocking this meeple. Of course, red will still have the points, but at least the severe threat of this city being completed has been eliminated. So blue is still very much in this. He has some monasteries, he has some field options. All he has to hope for that red will fight for this field and lose the field fight. Red can probably use his tremendous meeple majority to just like chip away. He starts building cities, he gets blocked instantly. Now, a super nice tile that would have been great for blue over here has been drawn by red. And this is probably the game deciding coin flip. It's so interesting how Carcassonne works. There's so many ways to come back. Like even after this game deciding feature, it really wasn't over. Now it's a big blow. Now I assume that 4 points are going to be scored for the road. Hey, oh come on! It does this all the time. 81%. Beautiful. Let's just assume that it was move 100 or something. Let's say 100. Because I only was able to see the game progress, I wasn't actually able to see the move number. Because it was covered by the banner saying that Board Game Arena is not treating us well again. Imagine something like that during the game, and then you lose on time. And then your team loses the match, and you're out of the championship. And you can't do anything about it. Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. We're probably going to need to blitz through these moves as well. It's, by the way, awesome to see that like so many of you are still here. Even though I think like, I mean, of course, I think to me like watching live commentary by somebody else is always interesting, but like game analysis, it's usually like for the most devoted ones. And you all are still here. So meeple the like button if you do. If you are. Now a new city here by red immediately blocked. We've been through this, and this monastery, where would it go? Oh, farmer. So this is interesting. So red is playing right into blue's trap. Blue can actually win this because red has just blown the stakes open in this game, has expanded the field. Now the stakes are higher. So before that, red could have chipped away. Like 4 points here. This is like another 5 points here. I don't know. But instead, he takes 6 points with an investment of a meeple and a chance to lose the field. So blue must be loving it. And he goes for max value. Red spends a meeple on every move just because he has so many of them. Blue probably going to go over here just to get some points. Maybe start some blocking. Let's see what he does. Creates another field connection. But why not here? I like this move. I think it's cool. Yeah. I like this move. It's just gives you 2 points, creates a field connection. Okay, that makes sense. So here comes the block. And then the field is much smaller. So it does look like it's an important objective accomplished for red, but it cost red like 12 points at least to do this. He doesn't even put it over here. He just wants to make sure that nothing can fit into this square. Green scores 4 points. Red just keeps chipping away. Green scores more points. Okay, we go over here. We meeple the road. It does look like it's actually winnable for... I was going to say green. I meant blue. I hope you got what I meant. But then it's so interesting. How did blue end up losing? Because blue is at -4. The road is equal. The fields are equal. So then it's like -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. -12. And they're 12 points for the monastery. And just like this, with... Oh, okay, it's -2 because of the city. So blue has managed to make it only -2 as a result of meepling monasteries to make a comeback from that city, and then anything can happen. For example, a way how blue wins this, I don't know, maybe like win this field. It's going to be 9 points, probably enough. Draw some quick points, we'll see. Crafty saying you don't like what you're seeing. Well, it's understandably, because Crafty's from Belgium. But in addition to the scoreboard, we're now reliving one of the losses. So hopefully it's not too painful for you. Oof, oof. That's a strong move. Oh, that's a good move. By the French player, because the thing is, not only does it take 3 points, making it so that you score five points extra in total than your opponent, you're setting up an inevitable 7-point move. Almost inevitable, either this city cap or this city cap. It's huge. So let me see what we could have done. Maybe as blue, had we placed it over here, we would have gone over here, and now we would have gone over here. We would have had 3 points over here, 2 points, and then 4 points extra. We would have had 7 more points with the same number of meeples. Okay, let's see. 5 more points with the same number of meeples. Yeah, but here comes the thing, the 7-point move. Now, of course... Wait, is that... Yeah, it's just, I guess, the only thing we could have done. Well, no, not the only thing. So I guess you get this, you get 1 point... Okay, it's 2 points. Plus, what's going to be another starting tile, right? Plus 3, let's say, for a field. So it's 5. So maybe, yeah, it's just so difficult. I don't think there were any sequences really. After this farmer, it was really the move that clinched red the game. Here's another field. We're gonna take a 3-point field somewhere. It's so interesting how these games are often decided by like a last-minute farmer. The most valuable feature on the board was created in the last like 3 moves. This was an excellent monastery effort, and all we know that with a bit more precise play, maybe blue could have got like 5 more points, and that's about it. Just by placing this tile over here and then going like this. But we know that this would not have been enough because blue would have still lost by 1 point. Or would he? I think it was like a 6-point difference, something like this. It was an 8-point difference. So probably something miraculous really needed to happen. On the other hand, had blue drawn this tile, yeah, that would have probably been the victory for blue. So the game was really undecided towards the end, and blue made a really nice comeback effort with the monasteries. But I think, however, it surprised to me, it was all about that city play. Both players were kind of really shy at the start. Nobody seemed to be wanting to win the game outright. And then they tied the city as a result. Then this city brewed, and of course this was just the one tactical mistake for blue of turning this tile a certain way. And I'm saying this not because of the run out of tiles. I was saying this before I saw the run out of tiles. I was saying it was just simply because of the probabilities involved. But hey, it's the World Championships. Everybody's heart rate is going up and everything can happen. And certainly such a nice comeback attempt with all these, as the Belgians would say, breweries. Oh, Raf is suggesting something very good here with this move. Instead of scoring 2 points yourself, you go over here and you grab one of the empty city caps and you threaten, and probably you successfully complete this city and drop a farmer in some scenarios. That was it. Thanks for being here. entered the game just in time. Unfortunately, you weren't lined up for the match, so you couldn't make that move yourself. But that was the play. That's true. Triangle goes over here, and either the threat of the city completion is being thwarted, or at least you take away a 7-point move from your opponent, and you are actually compensated for 5 points because of that. Yeah, so it all turned out to be about cleaning off city caps. Quite interesting. But this just goes to show you there are always opportunities to come back. Don't give up your Carcassonne games if you're a Carcassonne player. Try to find that aggression. Well, anyway, congratulations to this French player on aggressively winning this huge city and then just calmly finishing the game. We had a similar, not quite similar, but a relatively similar situation with Squalus versus Gina earlier, where the French player just took an early lead because of a city and then just played super defensively and kept the lead. So enough for the... Oh, yeah. Actually, no, Raf. Lining you up would not be against the rules because Belgium has nine players. I'm just... Not to put ideas in anybody's mind, but the team can still add extra players during the championship, up to 10. And Belgium has 9 players. This is not saying anything. I'm just pointing out the rules. All right, oh, cheers, Nico is still in the chat. Nice. I hope you got something out of it. Yeah, it was... I mean, it's literally like a one-move tactic. That's it. But overall, awesome attempt for coming back with monasteries. Oh, look, a new expert here. Interesting. I have to play them later. But before, the final and most important part of the stream, that's going to be the Fantasy 5 update. So we're going to open it right here. I'm going to do this. And I just need to sort out... Just wait for a second, okay? For those of you who don't know, I need to remind you that we're doing like a fantasy Carcassonne game that 55 of my viewers have selected 5 players who they think are going to perform best in this championship, and now we're going to be checking on their progress. Fantasy 5. Oh, there we are. You should be able to see it. I just need to... I guess I just need to move it a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So, as you can see, currently Matt Tucker was overtaken by Craft Giraffe, who, because he's not playing in the championship, he actually decided to just win at this, which wouldn't be quite fair because if you remember, he won the previous year's challenge, which was predicting the top 4 of the tournament, the top 4 teams. And after that, we see mostly championship players. Matt Tucker dropped 1 spot because he bet on himself and he wasn't lined up for his game against Team Ukraine, so he couldn't accrue any points. But so far, he's still 2 for 2. The British player with the screen name Ever had bet on the German, and he's going to probably climb further. Then, of course, we can see Johan Neitz, who lost his game today, but at least is doing quite well. And one of the Carcassonne brothers is doing well because obviously he bet on his teammates, and now it's working out quite nicely for him. And then I'm just going to scroll so that everybody can see their names. This is how their names appear, how your names appear on YouTube, so I'm not doxing anybody. I might need, because it seems that it's getting super close, I might need additional tiebreakers. I'll think about those. I think that in case after all tiebreakers everything's equal, I think it's fair to give the win to the player who's, to those few of you who are not actually playing in the championship. Because kind of playing in the championship is a bit of an insider knowledge. But do let me think. If you think of some other extra tiebreakers that we might need, I'll take those into consideration. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I confused Johan and Tom. Yes. Nice dicer is Tom. So soon we're gonna start getting negative scores because you can change your Fantasy 5, but some players will keep losing. All right, so let's now do some updates on, first of all, Alexey's pick doing not so bad with 12 scores, because I bet on my teammates, so far paying off. He's currently at 3-4-3. The German also won today, so that will work out for me just nicely. Mars 15 also will work out for me just nicely. And I bet on the Chilean player GDLK, but he was surprisingly not lined up again. I mean, he won his first encounters. If we have any Chileans in the chat, why are you not putting my Fantasy 5 pick in the championship? He's good, I think. Or maybe he was lined up, I don't remember. I don't think he was. So then we have the collective wisdom pick, which is the 5 most picked players. Again, doing quite abysmally. Because should the most picked player lost his duel against Marian Kurkan, and Kithora, the second most picked player, lost his duel against Bogdan Kurkan, someone you know, the third picked player wasn't lined up at all as punishment for his loss previously, and because I'm the captain, I decided not to punish myself for the previous loss and then line up myself anyway, because I can do that. And then I fortunately managed to win my quite a difficult duel against Pronom Feble over here, who has also been picked a lot. And one of those games ended up with a 1-point difference. You can check that game out, it was actually quite interesting. Then the second collective wisdom pick, these are the 5 second most picked players, actually doing very well, because these are Krishna, Medusa Hope, Pronom Feble, even though there was one loss, but she's gonna win more games. She's really good. She's gonna win more duels. Marian Kurkan, of course, just crushing it for now. He's still in this, and Socanero from Spain also crushing it. We're gonna see how he plays, but a great performance so far from the newest Spanish master. Got his title like a month ago, or even just a couple of weeks ago, I don't remember. Time goes on fast. Yeah, so this is the update. And in my first stream of next week, I'm going to let you know how the game progresses further. Crafty Raf is now saying, yeah, obviously you do like what you're seeing here, so that's a bit of a consolation. By the way, Crafty, you didn't bet on any Belgians. How very unpatriotic of you. Oh, by the way, you know what Raf's strategy was? Just betting on the letter M. Medusa Hope, Mikhail Rus, Mars, and so on. Just all, and it's working out. MTU is asking, have you added today's results? No, not yet. This is after just week 3 games. Okay, so Nico Vellemans is saying, as captain, you find it difficult to participate. Makes sense. But yeah, I would have like, I think most team captains who participated, they actually did bet on their teammates. I know somebody bet on Gina. I don't remember who. I think I've already shared all the players like who were picked, but I kind of just gonna briefly scroll through them, see if we can see anybody unexpected. But by the way, there were some. Oh, okay. This is what I'm gonna show. I know what I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you amongst those who are picked, amongst the players who are picked. There are several who are at 3-4-3. That's Krishna from Latvia. None of the other favorites. So not Alexey, not Kiefer, not Shud, not someone you know. That's Mikhail Rusev, RCP. That's Tokonero from Spain, Mars 15 from Romania. That's Mitaukat from China. And that's, there's gonna be more. Vineria from Chile and Manarori from Mexico. And Chomps from Czechia. Not the both masters, but Chomps. That's, I guess, for the creativity in his screen name. Rabasa from Portugal is for free. Meeple Wizard from Germany. And now he conveniently didn't line up himself for his match to avoid the loss. And Navari is gonna climb down a little bit after today's loss to the current world champion. Yeah, so I guess this is as much stats as I can say. Crafter was saying if you could pick a player from Team Belgium, it would be Gina as well. Yeah, makes sense, actually. Especially now. Although, you know, 71 knives after today's win, it's probably a decent choice too. Okay, enough of the Fantasy 5. Let's just look at the calendar. I haven't decided which games to stream, but I'm going to do a mega stream on Sunday. There are several games in parallel, and the games that I'm going to stream will depend on my special guest. So I'll let you know very, very soon, but there is going to be stream on Saturday evening, and it's going to be long. So what I'm going to have, Chile-Portugal, very interesting match. I'm quite likely to stream this one. So it's going to be either this one or Spain-UK, kind of one of the two late night matches, both super interesting. Then Catalonia-Poland is an option. So is Argentina versus United States. And this is the main idea. Brazil-Colombia is also super nice, but I've already streamed Brazil. I think I'm going to give them a break for a second. They might need some time to psychologically recuperate from the 0-5 loss to Taiwan, but luckily they have a team psychologist, so they can do that with no problem. Japan versus Mexico will be a little bit too late for me, but if I have Japanese players now in this chat, I will be rooting for Japan. And if I have Mexican players now in the chat, I will be rooting for Mexico. This is what I can say. Oh, Nico is pointing out that Meeple Wizard isn't the captain anymore. That's interesting. So Miami is the captain, and he chose not to line up myself. By the way, now Miami. I mean, again, another future video. It's in the pipeline, but it's just so much stuff. Is now my favorite German player. You know why? Because they helped me win the last arena season. I won the last arena because they won against the guy who was second and threatening my first. Against like another, you know, one of those second Japanese accounts. So yeah. So I'll be rooting for them. Like as soon as Germany plays again, I'll just devote an entire stream to their duel. Then I think that's gonna be it. Thank you for all those who stuck around. In case you're here for the first time, we do this a lot of times, so do subscribe and meeple the like button for the algorithm. And see y'all on Sunday in the next stream. Nico Vellemans is saying, was there no move of the week? No, there was. It's just, it takes late to publish. This video is like almost done. I'm releasing it this week. I hope to release it tomorrow, actually. I've picked a move. I've already like edited everything except the pictures, but I've already shot it. I'm not going to say what it is, but there is a move of the week. And also, this week, like, I got so many suggestions that like a lot of part of it was just analysis paralysis and decision making. It was like, oh, this move was so nice, it will be like such a pity to leave out. But no, I had to leave all of them out but one, and I do not regret the choice that I made. You will see tomorrow. You will like the move. So yeah, thanks for remembering about that. And because like most of the games are taking place on Sunday, it's actually like takes me some time to go through the games and the suggestions, so I'll probably won't be able to publish those videos on Mondays anymore. I'll have to publish them at some point later in the week. Then it should be enough for a day. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.